Welcome back, my friends. This week we've been looking at different aspects of worship, as well as examining what happens before we engage in worship to God. I think most of us that grew up in the church have set ideas about what worship in church should look like, such as prayer, singing, and studying the Word. But I really like the question in our study today that asks whether worship is limited to those things only, or maybe what are other examples? There are other religions or churches, for example, that have a whole church service before the main service where they sit in a circle in silence, and whenever a person is moved by the Spirit, they get up and talk to everyone, share what's on their heart or a testimony, and then they sit down again, and then someone else gets up and shares. That's very different. In the Old Testament, we also read that David was leaping and whirling before the Lord when bringing the Ark of the Lord into Jerusalem. Some may not have considered that as worship and were displeased with the king's behavior, but Ellen White said that David danced in reverent joy before the Lord, and it exalted God's holy name. Very different, right? Our Jewish friends also have a lot to teach Christians about worship because their view is so much broader. They understand that it is a service to God which includes both an attitude and activity of homage. As such, it was integrated into every aspect of daily life, namely acts of purification, dietary laws, sacrifices, tithes, offerings, observing the Sabbath and other festive days, fasting as well as praying. So, for example, an observant Jew, eating kosher is not just about eating a clean animal. It's so much more. Few acts are as divine as eating food. Eating is similar to sifting gold. You grasp the divine spark within a food and reject the dross. And then in the mitzvahs energized by that food, you carry that divine spark back to its origin within the oneness of its creator. That sounds like an act of worship. Therefore, whether you eat or drink or whatever you do all to the glory of God. 1 Corinthians 10:31. And with that, we come to the end of our nugget for this week. Make sure you join your local Sabbath school this Sabbath to continue studying the Word of God. God bless you.